You never think it's gonna be you until it is. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan, and today I'm going to tell you the story about how I became a half-ton man. In July of 2019, Carly, my now wife, and I found out we were having our first baby. It was one of the most incredible moments of my life. Suddenly, the future felt massive, full of hope, full of possibilities. Just as life was beginning, something strange crept in. I started to notice something wasn't quite right with my tongue. At first, I thought it was biting myself. I had a broken tooth, so I thought maybe it had been rubbing, or maybe it was an ulcer, but it didn't heal. So the test began: blood work, swab, a biopsy, CT scans, and a kind of waiting to just nose at you. You don't want to panic, but you just know. Then came the day in August 2019, and I walked into the room for my results, and there were two Macmillan nurses sat there. I looked at them. I was the consultant, and before anyone spoke, I just said, "So it's cancer then?" Macmillan nurses don't generally sit in if it's not. And I was right. October 4th, and it's the morning that I'm due to get my peg fitted. A peg is a feeding tube that goes directly into your stomach. It's the worst thing I've ever had done. But that morning, I proposed to Carly, naked, on one knee. She thought I was having a heart attack. But then she saw the ring and everything changed. Well, I'd like to think everything changed. And luckily she said yes. And that moment, that spark, gave me something to hold on to. I went into Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham on October the 6th at around 8 o'clock at night. I tried my hardest to distract myself from what I knew was going to happen the following morning. I didn't want to sleep. Sleep only brought the inevitable faster. So I tried to stay awake most of the night watching WWE Hell in a Cell. And I have no idea what's happened in that. I can't remember if it's off it. On the morning of October the 7th at 9 AM, I went into surgery. 18 hours. I had a partial vasectomy and a nasal section. They removed half of my tongue and rebuilt it with muscle from my right leg, and while removing any teeth on the left-hand side of my mouth. Broken teeth I had, because radiation therapy would destroy them. I was taking any lymph nodes out that were cancerous. To do that, they had to break my bottom jaw down the middle, and so open it wide, like that. Every time I think of that, I just think of the Predator. You know, the way his face opens up into 4 parts. That's what they did to me. Now, I need to say something here about my wife. She was pregnant. She had 2 kids at home, and she still came to see me every single day. She washed me, she cared for me, she held me together, doing things for me that I wasn't comfortable letting the nurses do. I genuinely don't think I would be here without her. There's literally nothing I could ever do that would repay her for what she's done for me. Not during that time, or since. Last Thursday, just days after surgery, I was up walking. I needed to move. I wasn't going to let myself rot in a bed. Once I got my own room, I'd stand by the window with my headphones on, and I'd watch the world go by. I'd walk on the spot just to feel like me again. My leg, the one that took the muscle from, was numb. I didn't fully grasp what I'd been through. And people ask, how didn't you know? The truth is, I didn't understand it. Not all of it. I just kept going. Now, my leg's still numb. My left leg, they put the central lining. That's numb. My face, numb. My neck, my jaw, all numb. I feel nothing. And here's something that not many people know. Because of the tracheostomy, for 2 weeks, I couldn't smell. The first thing I did smell, hospital food. It was awful. But in that moment, it smelled like heaven. And then came the moment that still brings me to tears. Charlie had hidden something in my bag. It was a newborn nappy, and on it was a picture of our baby's scan, and written across the bottom was, "Don't be scared, Daddy. I'm on my way." Tears filled my eyes that day, and I pressed the nurse call button. And when they came in, I scribbled one word on my whiteboard: home. The day that I was being moved from the ICU onto the ward, they took out my central line. I still couldn't speak, and I couldn't really move. I was still pretty out of it. And when the nurse pulled it out, I could hear her saying, "My boy, stop bleeding." And I remember thinking, this is how I die. After surviving the most grueling ordeal of my life, this is it. A week later, bleeding out. I couldn't speak. I used the whiteboard and a text-to-speech app. It felt like I was locked in my own body. I was there now, voiceless. I moved to the ward after 5 days, and I opted for a recliner chair instead of a bed. And I sit there watching TV, listening to music, trying to understand who I was now. I didn't eat for months, and that kind of hunger came down. I wasn't actually hungry, though I was having food feeds, but mentally I was hungry because you don't get the same satisfaction. They fed me with these things called 46 medical nutritional drinks, and I couldn't taste them unless I burped, and that is when the flavour came back up. Coffee ones were the worst. I hated them. Thankfully, I get free prescriptions with it, or I would have gone bankrupt. I struggled with how I looked. I struggled with how I sounded. Some days I shut down completely. I got angry. I was frustrated. I felt lost. That Christmas of 2019 was one of the hardest. I love Christmas. I love Christmas food. Turkey, Yorkshire puds, chocolate, snaps, nuts. But that year, I couldn't eat any of it. We went to my mum's, like I did every year, and I made the decision to stay in the living room when everyone went to eat dinner. I didn't want them to feel awkward, but I also didn't want to sit there drooling over the foods that I couldn't touch. Lusting after a roast dinner like it's some kind of festive food ghost. It was lonely, but my family got me through it. Radiotherapy was brutal. Every day for around 6 weeks, except Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day. But I had to make those up, so I had double sessions on certain days. And they made me a mask, which was moulded to my face. I'd then be strapped to a table and lay completely still for around 15 minutes while they scanned me and then blasted me. And that caused me to lose my beard, and that goes. Speech therapy was a daily trouble, pages and pages of practice. One page just had the word sausages written over and over and over. Try saying sausage with half a tongue. It's harder than it sounds. Sausages, sausages, sausages. Today, I work as a bus driver, and it's still hard. I can't pronounce some words clearly, as you people have probably noticed. People stare at me, judge me for how I sound or how I look. Not so much how I look these days. Thankfully, I've got the beard. Some think I'm stupid, some think I'm drunk. Others assume I'm deaf. Sometimes it hurts. I was also a musician. I was in a band at the time. I'm not going to mention which one because it doesn't really need saying, but that ended at the worst time possible for me. Music had always been a part of what I was. Losing that while dealing with everything else just felt like another part of me had disappeared. And even small things, like silly things, like fares go up at work. It used to be £1.50. I can say that. Now it's £1.60. That's 60, so much harder to say. Every single day I face those moments. But I keep going. I'm saving this because recovery isn't just about scars. It's about grief. It's about frustration. It can be about silence. But it's also about hope, about finding your way back. And sometimes laughing at the chaos. If you're going through something hard, or someone that you love is, you're not alone. It's okay to feel broken. I still sometimes feel broken, but it won't stay that way. If this video helps even one person, then it's done what I hoped. Thanks for listening to my story, and I apologise profusely for the length of this video. I wanted to get the deep dive done relatively early, so I had answers for the questions that are inevitably going to come when you put things out in the public ether. Thank you for bearing with me while I figure out this wacky world of YouTube and how things work. I've got a video that I've just done, I think I dropped it on Sunday. I'll put a link to that here. YouTube's hard, but I'm going to keep going. I don't see why not. But I'm down to have some man, and thank you for being with me. Thank you to my wife and to my children. I am here because of you, and I will forever be grateful. You make me who I am, and I thank you for that. I'll see you in the next one.